Hey, welcome back to Milton Daily Homes. 13 listings today. There's one on the order system, but I have a feeling it's going to show up on the Treb, so I'll push it through tomorrow. And actually some really good deals here. I think this is a very solid list. I would say probably top 5 out of the last month for sure. So let's talk about them. Now there's a unit, I believe it's the same layout as this one here. It was listed at $466. I thought it was high, but it got an offer after a couple days. This one's $452, so we're more than 1,000 square feet. As Ardon, Maine is pushing 600 a square foot for new construction, there's a lot more amenities with it. It's probably going to be a little better built than these buildings, but 600 a square foot versus like 450 a square foot is a big difference. And so this one is the Windsor corner. I think it's like 10-20 square feet or so. And you have a reasonably quiet view too, because some of these buildings are pushed right up against Main Street. So all that together, I think it's good, and I like how they wrote in the description. There's a surface parking lot, and so all you need to do is register your second car. Because the reality is, a 2-bedroom home, there's a good chance that there's people with 2 cars. So you own one spot, and you kind of have like rights over a communal area within these buildings. And I think that's a smart move, and it's a good selling feature. So here's how far the guys were off the mark yesterday. This is the same model as the one that we highlighted. I don't remember the street, but the one for, it was like 645, 579, same model, nice, with a finished basement. So, I mean, I don't know where the 645 came from, but I just don't see it working. The other thing about this model, and I skipped past it, but a lot of times what we see is there's just a drywall area right here. This is a very smart upgrade, and most people don't think of it because of the way that you buy new construction is you buy from a 2-dimensional floor plan. You don't think, or if you do think, you think more about like kitchen upgrades and things that you can process. Having this open staircase lets a lot more light through. It just feels much better than having, you know, a big sheet of drywall sitting right there. So kudos to whoever the first buyer was on this home. Very intelligent upgrade. Bathroom sink is something you don't see often in this model. There's only one full bathroom upstairs, and they were, again, very smart to do a second full bathroom with a shower down in the basement. So you've got a little kind of cute tool shed back there. You've got even to do the interlock here is probably the better part of $5,000 to $7,000 if you hired someone. Good option, like solid price. They did everything right on this one. Now, I don't remember the model well enough, but 1765 square feet is what's quoted. I'm not sure if that's just main and second floor, or if it's total living space, because the basement's finished, and oftentimes the builder finishes it. But what you have essentially is the kitchen with the eat-in. Then you have one living area on the main floor, so you don't really have a formal dining room. You've got a little loft upstairs plus 3 bedrooms. And then you've got your finished basement. Excuse me, here. So I'm thinking that the basement is separate from the measurements. You also have a... So you might be more than 2,000 square feet of living space. You get a wider lot because it's on the corner. And the other thing is you're all brick too. So all of that together for mid-6s, again, another solid pick. 265 pots. I would agree with whoever wrote the description that I think this is one of the better streets even in the neighborhood. And there's a lot of homes that are 2,500 to 3,500 square feet on the street. They've done hand-scraped hardwood on both floors. So as far as I know, there's no carpet. They've done the 9-foot ceiling, which makes a huge difference in this home. It's the 3-bedroom version, which is 1,820 square feet on this model. And the one thing you don't have a lot of in this model is you don't have a lot of closet space in the master, and your bathroom is a little bit small. So you can actually, it's a little advanced, but you can cut through the attic and you can build a bigger closet, because it's just, they don't show the angle on the back of the house, but you can actually kind of, there's nothing in that roof there. And they've done a good job with the backyard. So $729 for a detached home. This probably would have been pushing high 800s at the peak of the market. And I knew townhouses. I sold a townhouse for $800,000 at the peak of the market. People are still trying to sell some of the new townhouses for that price, but $729. It's very common for the buyer of this home to have something like, something like Bustle, where you have, you could sell your townhouse for $600, $650, and you can move to something like this. We just showed a client how to move from a townhouse to a detached, larger detached, and her monthly bills went up by $200. So there's a lot of opportunity right now to do the same kind of thing, because detached homes have really come down. Townhouses they've come down, but not as much. So the spread actually becomes a bit less. Now for $20,000 more, you can pick this one up instead of Potts. It's around the same size. It's 15 square feet difference. I like this floor plan a bit better. I like the fact that it is a 9-foot ceiling, because this model looks completely different between an 8 and a 9-foot ceiling. Center Island, a little more open concept on the main floor. You have that front den, which is really handy to have, and you get your pond behind. So no hand-scraped hardwood on the second level like you see on Potts. But I think the backyard with the green space makes up for it. So this is another solid option here. Now again, there were people that bought these homes from the builder that paid too much. $765,000 for a townhouse built by Green Park, 1846 square feet. The one I just showed you for $15,000 less is a detached home, same size, backing onto a pond. So why in the world would I buy a townhouse when I can get a fully detached pond? It doesn't make any sense. But I know this may even be less than the price they paid for it, but it's still not good enough to compete with this market right now. And then if you bump your price up even more, as far as double car garages, this one might be one of the best deals I've seen in the last 30 to 60 days. You have 2301 square feet plus a finished basement for $799. So there's a small little office. A lot of people use it as a kid's playroom. You go further down the hall, you've got your dining, your family room, and your kitchen with an eat-in. And I believe this is an 8-foot ceiling here. They've upgraded the... Have they upgraded the... I think they've upgraded the countertops. 4 bedrooms upstairs. It's a little sparse. The light-colored hardwood doesn't really go with anything in the rest of the home. So your 4 bedrooms plus a loft. And then you've got a finished basement. You also have the green space behind. So a difference between one that I consider to be a really good deal at $750 and this one, double garage, almost 500 square feet more, and a finished basement. You add those together for $50,000 more, and there's no way that doesn't make sense. So another very solid option, and there's a bathroom down in the basement too. So there's one on Ennisclare after this, the last one on the list. Very impressive home. I love the angles. I love everything about it. It's set up really well. But this will be the last one we talk about on Sanderson. $899 is the price. Finished walkout basement. And it talks about 3,000 square feet of living space. The basement is pretty much above grade. I don't think there might be a level underneath with your mechanicals. But what you end up having is the garage cuts into the basement. So you're going to have a smaller basement. There's some shots here. Nice shots, actually, the backyard. But this area here is going to be much smaller than most basements because you've got your direct access. What does that mean? You've got a walkout basement with direct access to the garage. Is pretty much the perfect setup for an in-law suite for a rental component to the home. If you want parents that don't want stairs, I'm thinking no more than 2 people because it's not a huge amount of space, but this could work really well as kind of a bachelor or maybe a small 1-bedroom. But it's perfect. There's 2 means of exit. You have no stairs. It just makes a lot of sense. These homes are very high up though. Like you can pretty much see over the entire neighborhood from the bedroom level. The other thing that happens is because you're above the garage, you're not dealing with the main floor that has to work around the garage. Kind of similar to what we talked about earlier this week. You now have a more square floor plan, which means you're more balanced between main floor and second floor above. So there are a few more stairs. I mean, if you think about someone who has to get right to their main floor, they're going to have to walk up some stairs. But if you like that, if you like the open main floor, you're willing to sacrifice some basement space, or if you're considering a basement kind of apartment setup, I think this one's good. You gotta love your vacuum triangles. That's a nice little touch. It shows clean and tidy. And it's still $100,000 more than the one we just talked about on Lederman. For not really much more size, head to head, I would still lean on Lederman because it's so bloody cheap. This one you're getting a bit of a better yard though. You're getting deeper, 127 feet on a pie shape, which is great. So there it is, 4, 5, whatever it is, great options, very solid list, and there it is. Now also, I'm going to put a link down below to 539 Woodward. You want to talk about a nice backyard, big mature trees, there's a play set, there's a basketball court, there's a wood deck, and there's plenty of room to spare. One of the largest lots in that area with a 60-foot frontage, and the house is nicely updated inside too. So that's 539woodward.com, and I'm going to put a link down below. It's not quite on MLS. It'll be later on today. It'll be up there, but you get first crack at it because even it takes a day or 2 for it to hit the public sites. You're going to hear about it first. Okay, have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow. And don't forget about the buyer class on Saturday if you want to come, miltonbuyerclass.com. Thank you.